Hey, how's it going, everybody? Mims here. We're going to talk about some things that are going on currently right now in the world of our body politic. I'll be frank and I'll be honest with you. I'm sick to death of hearing about this fucking infrastructure bill. What pisses me off about this infrastructure bill is it started at this $5 trillion bill, right? And Bernie Sanders made sure that the progressives, the Democrats, they got all these things in there to help the poorest of the poorest among us, right? And over time, the moderate Democrats, meaning Joe Manchin, Manchin and Sinema, and other Democrats that have corporate interests, they have chiseled away, just chopped over time at different programs in this bill. This isn't even counting the other goodies that were in there, dental care, increased dental care and vision care for people on Social Security and disability, and for the poorest among us, the most vulnerable among us. What they have done over the last several months, these corporate Democrats and corporate Republicans, not a single, let me repeat that, not a single fucking Republican is on board with this. And there's a few Democrats who have made this process really hard too. And I hope they all get voted the fuck out of office. But unfortunately, people don't pay attention to politics. People pay attention to what's sexy. And so, okay, is somebody going to pay attention to what's on some bill? Or are they going to flip the channel and watch what Kim Kardashian's ass is doing? Well, I'm thinking they're probably going to watch it and see what Kim Kardashian's ass is doing. But I don't really give a fuck what Kim Kardashian's ass is doing, okay? I give a fuck if I'm going to eat, my family's going to eat, my dog's going to eat, my cat's going to eat, my friends are going to eat. That's what I give a fuck about. I give a fuck about if my community is going to have fire departments working, if my community is going to have proper law enforcement, if my community is going to have safe bridges and roads. This is just, let's be honest. Joe Manchin, you're a Democrat in name only. A flat out conservative Republican, alright? And somehow, alright, you got on a ticket in your state as a fucking Democrat. Dude, you are the worst Democrat of all Democrats. Bernie Sanders is independent. He's my senator from my home state, okay? And he's out Democrating you, dude. Like, you're fucking horrible at your job. For real. If you're not going to help the American people, get the fuck out of the way. They started at $5 trillion for this infrastructure bill that wasn't just based on transportation, but it was taking care of programs that were going to help millions and millions and millions of Americans. It was going to make sure our bridges, our roads were taken care of. It was going to make sure people had decent paying jobs. They could put food on the table. It was going to make sure that people were able to have access to better dental care, health care, vision. Just bastardized this bill. First it was at $5 trillion. Then it got negotiated down to $3.5 trillion. And now we're looking at $1.75 trillion. I know that sounds like it's a lot of money, and it is. It is. But when you look at what the United States spends on the American people in comparison to what it spends on defense and defense contractors, it's absolute bullshit. Watch. I'll show you right now. For fiscal year 2021, the Department of Defense Discretionary Budget Authority is approximately $705.39 billion, mandatory spending of $10.77 billion, the Department of Energy and Defense related spending of $37.335 billion, added up to the total fiscal year defense budget of $753 billion. So that's almost $1 trillion right there in defense spending. Alright, so defense spending accounts for more than 10% of all federal spending and nearly half discretionary spending. So right here, United States, $778 billion. Next to the United States is China. The United States spends triple the amount that China does on its defense budget. And what is the population of China? 1.402 billion people. So, the United States, we have 329.5 million people as of 2020. India has 1.38 billion. China has 1.4 billion. Alright? Look at that. Look at that population. Okay? And so if we go back here to defense spending, where is India on here? Is India $72.9 billion. No matter which way you slice this, the United States looks pretty fucking horrible when it comes to its compassion for its own people. Okay? We got people starving in the fucking streets. We got people without places to go. We got homeless people. We have homeless veterans. We have veterans that are homeless that don't even receive health care. In the last 10 years in this country, we have had veterans that have waited years to receive health care on wait lists at the VA and have died on that wait list of various different diseases, including cancer. And they were never fucking seen. Why? Because priorities. This is what happens when you have special interest in a place like Washington. Joe Biden had his moment in the sun. Joe Biden had an opportunity to make history. Joe Biden had an opportunity to be a transformational president. Joe Biden had an opportunity to work with Bernie Sanders, the most progressive U.S. senator in the history of the United States. Still, one of the most trusted and one of the most highly looked upon senators in the United States of America, statistically, compared to other elected officials. Joe Biden could have worked with Bernie Sanders to make sure that the infrastructure bill of $5 trillion got passed. If not that, okay, yep, the $3.5 trillion was in the middle. When you got people like Joe Manchin and Manchin and Sinema running fucking Congress, saying that, oh, no, this budget does not reflect our state's values. What the fuck is your state's values? Does your state value its own people? Does it? I like to see. I've never been to Arizona, Manchin and Sinema, but I pray to God that per capita, you don't have as many homeless people in Arizona as we do in Vermont. I pray to God, Joe Manchin, that there's not as nearly many West Virginians living in poverty as there are Vermonters who are living in poverty. I really hope not. I really hope you are voting with your state, with your people, with your constituents. I don't think you're voting with your constituents. I don't think you're voting with your state. I think you're voting with your special fucking interests. Manchin and Sinema, your time's running out. Eventually, there's going to be a great progressive Democratic candidate or an independent that runs against your ass. I don't even care if it's a fucking Republican. As long as they care about the people, I mean getting you the fuck out of town. And Joe Manchin, you're some piece of work, partner. And I hope they put you on the first thing running. I hope it's a solar-powered fucking Tesla that does 3,000 miles an hour and it gets you the fuck out of DC too. You both need to go. Manchin and Sinema and Joe Manchin are illustrations of what is wrong with Washington, D.C. So here's my line in the sand. For Manchin and Sinema and Joe Manchin, are you voting with your states, Senator Sinema and Senator Manchin? Are you truly voting with your constituents? Are you truly voting in accordance with the values of your constituents? Because what about your constituents who live in poverty? What about your constituents who are on disability income? What about your constituents who work full-time jobs but are barely making ends meet? What about your constituents that would have been left out in the cold during the COVID pandemic if it wasn't for the benefits given by the United States government? Are you voting in alignment with their values or your donor's values? If you're voting in alignment with your donor's values, do not pass go. Do not collect $500. Hell, just go be a lobbyist. Hey everybody, thank you so much for checking out The Line in the Sand. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, please click that like button and think about subscribing. Thank you for your support.